Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we will talk about the relationship between religions, organized religions to be precise, and spirituality. In the past, I have very often written and discussed about this subject with many people, and every time I observe that to this day, many souls still believe that both religion and spirituality are one and the same thing, when in fact they're not. There is an important distinction between them, and unless we become very aware of this distinction, it becomes easy to fool ourselves with ideologies that may make us believe we're so fantastically advanced on our spiritual journey, when in fact we haven't even started. Now, why do people naturally associate religions with spirituality? We all have times of deep introspection when we yearn to connect with a higher power. The closest means we have to do this in practical ways on average is organized religion. That is why we naturally assume that spirituality and religion are the same. But as we will soon discover, they're not. Now let's dive into the video and discover what their difference is. This difference is actually so simple, you will ask yourself, why haven't I seen this before? Are you ready? We begin now. First of all, let's understand the origin of religion. When we look at most religions today and the damage they have created on the planet, we may ask ourselves, who started this? Who made it so that human beings are always hurting each other? Who started this division in the world? Why are we suffering so much because others have different viewpoints than ours? While the authors of religions may seem cruel considering what we witness today, the truth is that they were not. Most of the religions we know today have been started by enlightened teachers. Jesus, Krishna, the Buddha, and so on. These teachers reached a stage of human evolution that is usually called enlightenment. Enlightenment means reaching a state of conscious oneness, a state in which we know ourselves as we truly are. Consciousness, experiencing life on earth in a body, and embodying divine qualities of love, compassion, beauty, but also boldness, expressiveness, and joy on earth. Let's remember that the dimension we find ourselves in at this moment is a rather rudimentary level of awareness on average. Spirituals usually call it the 3D, a plane of existence where most people are consumed by their survival needs, by competition, by greed, by violence and brutality, and so on. Reaching enlightenment in this particular dimension, therefore, is quite the leap in human evolution. And most souls incarnating here for this purpose do so because the 3D, as it is usually called, offers many opportunities for important growth. It is out of the compassion and love that naturally come out from growing spiritually, therefore, that most of these enlightened masters sought ways to serve their fellow human beings. Growing spiritually restructures our energy fields. It happens even before we reach enlightenment, and with this change in our vibration, obviously, people pay attention and sense that there is something different about the evolved soul. If you're watching this video now, you may have observed it in your personal life, especially if you've been working on yourself for some time. People open up to you about their lives and actually seek your advice. This has to do with your higher energy vibration. Now, coming back to the subject, as people noticed the difference in those teachers, eventually they asked questions and started learning from them. These teachings were used religiously until eventually they turned into principles people could use to progress spiritually and live more happily and peacefully. Unfortunately, however, as these teachers eventually left the earth plane, there wasn't enough mature people around to keep the teaching going. What happened instead is that the lower human nature took over the followers, and soon enough, the teachings that were supposed to free mankind from suffering soon turned into his own prison. Dogmas replaced contemplation, curiosity, wonder, and learning, and if you questioned things at least publicly, you ended up being burned or banned. As you probably have guessed by now, the teachings from enlightened masters were turned into rigid systems of beliefs, and the goal of the lower human at the head of those religions had become power over others. Everyone was forced into conforming to the strict rules laid by these religions, and those who didn't were treated as parasites. Organized religions, therefore, are about holding different beliefs in our mind and living according to them. If we believe that God exists, or that if we do wrong deeds we'll go to hell, does it mean it's a fact? It could, but for most people it's not. It's simply a belief, one that paralyzes their ability to think for themselves and therefore live a limited existence. In order for us to grow, we must push the boundaries of the known. God may exist, heaven and hell may be real, but until we've experienced it for ourselves, we must at least have the freedom to question things, to explore creation. This is how we learn. This act of questioning our beliefs, those we have gathered since our childhood from our parents, teachers, friends, community, mainstream media, and so on, this act of questioning our makeup as a human being, this very act is what puts us on the spiritual path. As we look into our conditioning and how our past defines the person we believe to be, but also how this past shapes our worldview, how we perceive and process the world, we realize that we live in a cage, one that is formed by all those beliefs we believe to be true. If we are careful enough at this stage, we also realize that those beliefs of ours, which we believe to be the ultimate truth about life, aren't actually so because others have their beliefs too, which they assume to be truer than ours. Going deeper into this rabbit hole is how we uncover our limiting beliefs, and working on releasing them is how we eventually reach enlightenment, the very reason why enlightened teachers taught us their methods. How to uncover our limiting beliefs and release them is another topic for another time, so let's get back to the topic of the day. If you have paid attention now, the spiritual path therefore is about releasing those beliefs that cloud our perception and limit our expression. This is why we've all come down here on earth. We are souls, we are limitless, powerful, and creative beings. But in order to realize this, we use tools such as a mind, a body complex, as well as an environment in which we experience life. That's how we learn and reawaken to our full capabilities. In a nutshell, this is what the spiritual path is about. And to make the point even simpler, organized religions force beliefs into people. Spirituality teaches us and helps us release the beliefs that limit us. Why? So that our perception becomes aligned with reality and that we remember who or what we truly are. Also, the spiritual path encompasses all paths. Whether we spend our time partying or meditating, we are all on the spiritual path because we are all on this journey to eventually realizing ourselves as we truly are. We have all been given free will. We're all free to explore life as it suits us, until we eventually experience everything the senses have to offer and decide to consciously work on our spiritual growth. I hope that this video made it clear for you that you can be on the spiritual path without needing to be part of a religion. And if you are part of a religion that brings you comfort and support, there is no need to change it unless you feel like doing so. Some people reach enlightenment without being part of a religion, while others do so while being part of one. Ultimately, as we evolve as a person, we become religious, which means we care more, we become more kind, gentle, compassionate, and sane in a world that truly needs it. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it brought you answers on this very interesting subject. If you have any topic in mind you would like for us to discuss, put them in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, we would greatly appreciate it if you liked it, shared it with people who would benefit from it, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for everything. We will see you in the next video. Bye.